Week 1 of the high school football season is in the books here in Ohio, and that gave us an early look at some of the top teams here in the Valley. These are the teams we think will compete for a conference crown and could make a long playoff run this fall in their respective divisions. Now, Pennsylvania won't start playing until Friday, so today's top 10 is all Ohio in our WKBN Power Rankings. At number 10, West Branch. The Warriors started the season with a 40-point win over East Liverpool. They racked up over 400 yards of offense in that game and held the Potters to just 135. We'll see if they can keep things rolling this week against Woodridge. At number 9, we find their biggest rival, Salem. The Quakers also rolled in Week 1. They knocked off Crestview 38-13. Salem quarterback Jackson Johnson threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Blaze Exline scored 3 times as well. Quakers had 35-point lead at halftime. Their home opener will come this Friday against Beaver Local. Moving on to number 8, Boardman. The Spartans rolled over Cardinal Mooney last Friday night, and they did it without a couple of key players. Sean O'Horo rushed for 200 yards, helping Seth Antrim earn his first win as a head coach. Boardman will travel to Cheney in week number 2. Our number 7 team is Hubbard. The Eagles got a record-breaking performance from running back T.C. Caffey. He ran for 456 yards and scored 5 times against Norwayne, a perennial playoff team. Now we'll see if he can do the same against Cardinal Mooney. Hubbard is 0-14 all-time against the Cardinals. In Friday's game will be the first regular season meeting since 1979. It'll also be our WKBN Game of the Week. Live broadcast starts at 7 p.m. Moving on to number 6, LeBray. The Vikes looked great last week. They're a Division 6 team this year that beat Lakeview, a Division 4 team, 40-0. So that's a ton of computer points to start the season. LeBray outgained the Bulldogs by more than 250 yards. Devin Carter scored 3 times. Aiden Stevens had a big game at quarterback. This could be the team to beat this year in Region 21. Our number 5 team, Austintown Fitch. The Falcons started the season with a 27-0 shutout against Cheney. Devin Sherwood threw a touchdown pass and led the team in rushing. Now the road gets tougher, though. Their next 2 games will come against Canton-McKinley and Glen Oak, both D1 programs and both on the road. At number 4 this week, Warren JFK, again a Division 7 team with a lopsided win over a D5 school. That's playing up and racking up early computer points. The Eagles rushed for more than 380 yards against champion. Antoine Brown had the bulk of that with 3 touchdown runs. Kennedy made it look easy. They were up 34-0 at half. We'll see if they get a better test from Western Reserve this week. At number 3, Canfield. What better way to start the season than with a win over your biggest rival? The Cards did just that against Poland in our WKBN Game of the Week. Brock Lowry led the team in passing and rushing and accounted for all 3 touchdowns in that victory. Poland's a good team, and so is their next opponent. Dover just blew out Menor Lake Catholic. The Tornadoes come to town on Friday night. And speaking of rivalry games, our number 2 ranked team is South Range. They're coming off that big win over Springfield in our WKBN Game of the Week. The Raiders got 185 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns from senior Dylan Dominguez. They were balanced on offense and snapped the Tigers' 21-game regular season winning streak. Springfield's going to win a lot of games this year, so that victory will pay off big time for South Range down the road. And finally, our number 1 ranked team this week, Ursuline. The Fighting Irish won a shootout with Bishop Hartley last Thursday. They scored 62 points in that win. Senior quarterback Brady Shannon accounted for 6 touchdowns himself. Yes, they gave up 58 points, but Bishop Hartley's a really good program. They've qualified for the playoffs for 11 consecutive years, and they've won 4 state titles. It's a big win for Ursuline, and no rest for the weary. On Friday night, they crossed the state line to take on Hickory, the reigning District 10 champs. So Ursuline is the number 1 team in this week's edition of the WKBN Power Rankings.